Okay, so we have made it here. We have the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Disney Plus Wave 1. Build-A-Figure is Captain America's flight gear. Here we have Captain America, the new Captain America, Sam Wilson, formerly known as the Falcon. So here we have him without his wings because the Build-A-Figure actually turned out to be the wings, kind of like the Spider-Man Homecoming Vulture wave. There was the Build-A-Wing set. I think collectors weren't so happy about that at the time. It was new, something different. But here we have it the same again for some smaller wings. The cool thing about it is that it makes you able to do certain things with Captain America that you would not otherwise be able to do. Well, like with the previously released Falcon figures that we got, the wings that just either they're out or you're not using them. So there's some foldable things that we could do, which is pretty cool. The fact that this guy comes with the shield and the backpack piece and nothing else does kind of suck. I'm not sure what else he could have come with. Maybe a straight Anthony Mackie head sculpt would have been great instead of having the goggle look for it. I think the trouble with that is he doesn't actually have that look in this suit, so I think that's the justification, which sucks because why not give us a damn Anthony Mackie head? This is now our third Sam Wilson figure for the MCU. We've had 2 Falcon figures, and we now have this Captain America. It's why aren't we getting an Anthony Mackie head? We didn't get one with Marvel Select. I got SH Figure Arts hasn't announced the Captain America. They're doing a Falcon figure, and they're doing it. That one looks like shit, but they're doing it. Why aren't we getting it? And I don't know if it's contracts with Anthony Mackie, but if SHF is doing it, then Hasbro should be able to do it, and either they can't fit in the budget or what's going on, which sucks. That's my biggest complaint, probably going to be my only complaint, not having taken the figure out. So let's hurry up and get to it. Captain America from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We get a Captain America logo at the top, the Build-A-Figure Sam Wilson, Captain America flight gear. Side artwork looks awesome of Anthony Mackie in the full suit. Really like that. We get the same look on the back, and you can see the wings kind of in that background image there, which is really cool. The bio reads, Captain America Sam Wilson, donning a brand new suit and wings from Wakanda, Sam Wilson proudly takes on the mantle, ready to unite people as the world's new Captain America. I like how I put the world's new Captain America, not just like the country's new, but for the world, because Avengers really are a world-saving team, I guess, even though he's Captain America. But here we go. Let's get this thing out of the package. Okay, and here's the Sam Wilson Captain America figure out of the package. And again, this one's going to have me a little bit disappointed, and that's just going to be in some of the plastics and colors and paint or QC issues and those things that really just kind of slowly nickel and dime its way to being less and less of an enjoyable figure. So it just kind of sucks. So let's get in close and take a closer look at the cool details and things like that. Okay, so first we'll do accessories. He comes with the Captain America shield. This is the new design, so you could tell because of the star has a new design. Then you get the line through the silver with those 5 notches there. That's how you know it is different from the other MCU shield. So here's like Steve Rogers' shield, and you can see Sam's is different. In fact, it's actually smaller. I just realized that. It is a smaller shield in size, as you could see. So it's smaller. I like the brighter red though. That is pretty cool. But we get a nice silver paint on the Steve Rogers one here. It's just kind of the gray of the plastic. It's a shiny gray to kind of give it some metal shine to it, but silver paint does change the way something looks. And I'm looking at you, boots and feet, because looking at his boots, silver paint on the boots along with some red, and then you can see the foot is that shiny gray plastic. In video, I'm looking at it on my camera. It doesn't look so bad, but in hand, it just looks really weird because the boots then become super shiny, whereas the shin guard portion of it isn't as shiny. It's a nice metallic silver, but it's not the same. So it just looks really weird having in hand. Looking at the gauntlet piece and the gloves, get that same gray plastic, but we get some silver paint here in the chest and then right here, and then the backpack piece is actually the plastic portion. It's not the silver paint, and that just really changes the way it could really look. I guess this could pass as a second accessory that Sam Wilson comes with, and this is just, you know, if his wings are packed away, folded up, he's not doing anything, he's relaxed and not flying, the wings would kind of be packed up into there, so you have that backpack piece. Loki came with a different backpack piece which will actually hold some of the wing portions together and how we do that, so just a heads up on that. I know I'm being nitpicky when it comes to the boots, but it really changes the overall look to it, so it just kind of sucks. We get these nice spots right here where you could see kind of blasters, so to help him fly, so that's really cool that they actually sculpted like the vents in there. Like the way that looks. We get some white here. The white on the dark blue isn't so bad because we get enough hits of paint to really cover up any bleed through or anything like that. The texture of the pants look good. The belt there looks good. The red looks good, but some of the blue and silver can kind of get spotty in some areas. So if you have a chance to look at multiples, take a look at that. The red stops when crunching them up. I guess there would be really no issue there on the back. So the QC issues that I had kind of mentioned earlier, you see these big ass shoulder pads that he has. Because of that, you get very limited range of motion getting that arm up. So in the articulation, I won't be talking about that any further, but one thing that happened when I did that, because it hits that shoulder spot, I kind of cut into the paint a little bit there, so as I kind of probably just wiped that off, some of the white paint came off, so be careful when doing that, because that kind of sucks, right? Not good. There's a couple of spots where it looks like, you know, paint got missed or got chipped off or anything like that in the white of the cowl that he has. Silver there. So, I mean, just minor QC issues. It sucks though. But the biggest thing is just, you know, the boots not getting painted silver to match the shin guard portions and then the gauntlets and things like that. But overall, the sculpt wise, it does look really good. So we'll see how he looks with the wings. So let's go over the articulation first, and then we will put the wings together and put them on Sam Wilson so he can take off and fly. Okay, so Sam's articulation, he can look down that much, he can look up that much, so it gets a little bit tricky when he's trying to fly. The head is on a dumbbell joint. The neck is a separate piece, but it does not swivel on its own or anything like that. I tried doing it, but I tried popping the head off and trying to move the neck. It doesn't really move, so swivel is in that ball joint, and then you could do all kinds of crazy pivot and things like that. Shoulder, again, only goes up that high. Be careful for the paint chip. Full rotation, upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow, which gives you that much bend like so. It is pinless, so we get the new pinless technology on the elbows and on his knees. The wrists swivel, and they do hinge. We have an ab crunch, so we can crunch forward that much. Crunching back, he goes that far back. You have a waist swivel there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that much. You have an upper thigh cut. We get a double jointed knee, which only gives you that much bend because of the whole jet powered boot really hits the back of the leg there. There is no boot swivel. Foot hinges down quite a bit, which is good. You can actually get some pivot going up, but you have to work the top of the boot over the shin guard, and then you have ankle pivot peg holes at the bottom of the feet. I think I forgot to show this earlier, but here is the back of the shield, which is the same as like the Steve Rogers shields. So there we go. So that is his articulation. Let's get some side-by-sides real quick, and then we will put the wings together and put them on Sam. Okay, so MCU Sam Wilson, we have Captain America version, we have the Falcon version, and I feel like both of them are a little undersized, especially the older Falcon figures. Now that one, they did release him previously with Captain America Civil War. I still have that figure put away. Unfortunately, I think it's all the same. They just did some different colors and things like that. But you can see he's just a tad bit shorter, but his arms are like tiny compared. His legs are pretty thin compared. So even though they bulked this version up compared to the previous versions, I still feel it's a little undersized. Okay, and then here we have the Captain America Sam Wilson figure from the comics. This was exclusive to Toys R Us in a 3-pack with Kate Bishop and a Vision figure. So it's nice to see that the MCU has really embraced comic accurate suits. Not that they haven't in the past before, but they really changed things up quite a bit. So it's nice to see, you know, with like Scarlet Witch, that they're really going and using those super comic accurate designs and everything. And we see that with like all the Disney Plus things happening. So it's pretty exciting to see, but you know, checking them out, I just think that's awesome. Now, I know a lot of people have asked if Sam's wings for this figure will work with this figure. We will also take a look at that later on in the video. Okay, and so here we have all our figures so far from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I don't think we're going to be getting like Carly Morgenthau. Sharon Carter figure would be really nice to get. Batroc the Leaper would even be really cool for an MCU version. Unfortunately, we're not getting those, but here we have these four, which is more than I probably would have thought in the beginning. We will get a John Walker Captain America figure, so I guess that'll make 5. And I'm very excited for that one. So that's kind of it. So 2 Captain America figures from the same show. Now I want to talk about these two because I had mentioned it in the Baron Zemo video, but the bulkiness of US Agent when the actor was pretty thin and not as bulky. The reason why I want to talk about it here is because I really wish this Captain America figure would have been this size in terms of bulkiness. So look how thin he is from the side of Captain America. And looking at US Agent, you know, maybe that's not a really good way to look at it, but looking at the width of the figures, you could just see that US Agent is a lot larger. His legs are super bulky compared as well. So I really would like if this figure had this size proportion to it, but you know, I guess it is what it is. But Hasbro, if you're listening, you know, a little bit bigger on some of these figures would really go a long way. So Baron Zemo, I wish was a little bit bigger. Winter Soldier, a little bit bigger. Vision, a little bit bigger. Captain America, a little bit bigger. US Agent, he probably should have been a little bit smaller. But anyway, that's probably getting super nitpicky. Again, happy to have these characters. But just the size and the proportions. I know not everything's going to be in scale, but it would be nice if they were a little bit closer. So now let's get to the wings. Okay, so here are all the wings and stuff, and there's no instructions. So right now it's just kind of a pile. Let's kind of figure this out together. Okay, so we're going to take this kind of one step at a time in this video, I think. So first, let's get this stand together. So let's see, we're going to, looks like it's going to clip in there like so. Okay, so that portion of the stand is done. Out of the package with Loki, we actually had Red Wing that was popped onto this ball peg right here. This portion, be careful because you don't want to stress the plastic by forcing it on there too much, but you can get Red Wing on there like that. Let's go with the backpack piece that came with Loki. So we have a porthole there, and I think that's going to be for, it's actually not for that, so I don't know what that peg hole back there is going to be for yet, so we shall see there. But I do know that on the inside of there, the owl look who, we're going to use these wing pieces, so I don't know if, which way are these wing pieces supposed to go? Oh, because it can't go in that way, so it has to be this way. So we're just going to port that on there. We'll get the other wing piece, which will go there like so. Okay, so now we're coming along. Probably going to be this next piece here. I guess we match up the gray and the gray and the blue and the blue. As you can see there, it's a clip portion. We're just going to clip that on like so. Okay, coming along just fine here. We're going to match up gray and blue. Okay, looking good. Looking good so far. You can almost do like a short wing. Yeah, probably not, but we're coming along. Actually, wait. Backpack's going to go this way. Maybe I'm not doing that correct. That must not be correct. So let's pop that out. Let's pop that out. Let's see. Okay, so it does go on there that way. So trial and error, folks. Trial and error. So here we have the wing pieces. Now let's get these outside portions. So we're going to match blue with blue, silver with silver. So a couple of things. It doesn't look like this actually clips on anywhere, but this, you can see that is indented so it fits in there like so. There's still just the one clip, which makes it a little scary, but we should be good. So clipped on there. There's one side of the wing. Let's get this other side clipped on there as well. So boom, there are the wings, and these have a very good wingspan compared to the previous ones that we got. So looking at it, I have it right here. The previous Falcon wings we're like so. So you can see we're a lot wider and we're a lot bulkier. And the best part is we are articulated. You just have to be careful with how you're doing it because, you know, we can do some crazy things. So that is really cool. So, you know, like in Avengers Endgame, in the final battle where Falcon stabs that big-ass giant troll thing, you'd be able to kind of recreate that with these wings, which would be really cool to see. So there we have that. Now let's get Sam Wilson, Captain America. Here we have that. So it just has a single peg there, which also seems pretty scary. And we're going to port that right onto his back. And it goes on there like so, kind of. And here we have Captain America. So I am going to attach him to the base so we can see how that looks. But good news is he can stand without using the base. So I'm sure it's just a matter of getting him to balance and having the feet and the ankles in certain spots just right. But there we have it so far. Okay, so here is the final thing. That peg in the back, duh, stupid me, that was for the stand to port into the back. Over here in the corner, you actually get a little peg hole so you can plug in that portion right there so you can hold Red Wing on there. And there is the Captain America flight gear Build-A-Figure. And it's cool. It's actually disappointing now that having it in hand, because I just pulled out the Vulture figure so I could do a comparison. And holy shit, the Vulture figure, those wings are like twice the size of this guy, so then it makes more sense that that was a Build-A-Wing or Build-A-Figure set compared to this where it's just not as large. The details are nice on here, the blues, the red, the silver, and then the gray. It's all cool in the fact that you get Red Wing and you can put him on a stand there. But in comparison to the Vulture, it does kind of suck. I do think that something like this could have easily been packed in just by itself. Or maybe they should have just given us a deluxe release of this version of Captain America. Say, $30 figure, you get Sam Wilson and you get the wings packed in there in Red Wing. $30 I think would be extremely fair. To do a Build-A-Figure for it, I think it's tough. Now, MCU waves, we get a lot of unique sculpts and that takes up a lot of budget, so I get that, right? So new sculpt, not all new sculpt. All new sculpt, all new sculpt, not all new sculpt, not all new sculpt. So it's not like the budget was insane for this particular wave, right? So it's kind of odd to me. Now, was there a larger character that they could have used from any of the Disney Plus shows right now? No. I don't get too big on the size of a Build-A-Figure itself. You know, but because it's not actually a figure this go around, I would have liked for whatever the accessory piece thing to be quite larger, and it's just not large. It's cool. It is very cool because we get those points of articulation. I mean, that's just awesome when we can do stuff like that. That is really nice. So if you, I see I keep popping this one off. So, you know, if you want to get him into some flight poses, you can have the wings kind of going out like that. So there's cool things that you can do. It's just, man, you got to buy all the figures just to put it together so you can have a complete Captain America. So I get some of the criticism that we've seen, and I am left a little disappointed. It's cool that we have the wings. I think it's an absolute must, but should have just been a deluxe figure, and then maybe this, in the wave, we get a Falcon in that Falcon suit, because that's a really cool suit for the show, and we're not going to get a figure for that. That's kind of disappointing. I really wish we would have. So maybe they could have given us a Falcon figure like that, and given us similar wings like to the old version. So I mean, it does kind of suck. I get it. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. Here, let's do some comparisons. So here we have Falcon. Let's do this. Oh, there goes Red Wing. So you can see it's just the wingspan. It's much larger and bulkier, but say, like, here's a $20 figure and get the large wings. Yes, they're not articulated, but they're just like hinges that clip together. So it's not like, you know, super complicated points of articulation. So it does suck. You know, I am disappointed, but again, they look really, really cool. So looking at the details, we get some nice details in there. It's not as detailed as the Vulture wings, but there are some nice things. The blue is a really nice color. The gray, It's that plastic color, so you do see some marbleization because it's kind of a metallic gray. I wish we would have gotten silver paint. You know, even if that would have gone a long way too. If instead of the gray plastic, we got silver paint, that would look 100 times better, and then maybe I wouldn't be complaining as much. And I don't typically complain about Marvel Legends a whole lot, but I feel like with some of these figures in this wave, I have been, and I've been very excited for this wave, and I still am very happy to have them and the characters. But, you know, it's just, you know, it leaves me wanting a little bit more. Looking at the back, you can see some of the details a little bit nicer, and it is really cool. So looking at the articulation, actually on the back, these wing pieces can actually go down like so, and then can come up like that. You can hinge back on the wing, and then you can also hinge it forward as well. So that is great. Looking at this other piece, you can go back somewhat, and then you can come forward as well, so you can kind of turn it around. So depending on how you kind of position Sam, you can't get exactly to the point where the helicopter was coming down and then he kind of guarded himself in the civilian there, and then he had like his shield up on top. You know, you won't really actually be able to do that full thing, but it's cool to pretend that you can kind of do it, if that makes sense. So, whoops. There we are. And then this one wing piece just keeps falling off compared to the other ones. This is the only one that I've knocked off a bunch of different times. So there he is. Let's see one more side-by-side comparison, and then we'll take a look at the entire wave and do a ranking. I said one more, but I meant two, because here is Vulture, and you can just see how much larger these wings are compared. I mean, just look at how much bulkier those wings are. Like, it's insane. And they're so much larger. I mean, even on each side, we're talking another 4 inches maybe in length. And we get, you know, points of articulation. It's just a much bigger and more detailed in terms of the sculpt. There isn't as much paint, though. And I don't know how much paint really adds to a budget of a figure. Probably a lot. And I'm not even going to begin to guess or have a good understanding on that. It's just that this thing is crazy huge with awesome sculpt to it, whereas this is got awesome sculpt to it, some details. It's just not as large. So in my mind, it's not as big as good of a justification for it to be the Build-A-Figure itself. But, you know, it is what it is. But I am appreciating the hell out of this Vulture figure a lot more now. It sucks because I had to take it out and I got to find a way to get it back into my display. Okay, so the last comparison, here we have the Marvel Select and the Marvel Legends. So one thing that the Select did really well is we got silver paint on the wings, so they just look a lot better than the metallic gray plastic that's marbleized. It just doesn't look as good. It looks kind of cheap, but on the Select, it just looks really good. But the Select is just, you know, really limited in terms of articulation. The wings are static, so they're not going to fold anywhere. They're using kind of a harder plastic, which just and then falls apart kind of deal. So I don't really like the way these wings come together. Not that it's terrible, but you know, they just really don't stay on nicely. And I guess that's just kind of a problem for either figure. But looking at the details of the suit and everything, it's basically the same. There are, you know, some color differences. You know, the Legends is probably a little bit brighter. We don't have so much this issue on the Select, and the Select is just larger, but the wingspan is actually about the same when you look at just how far the wings kind of spread out. The difference is with the Select, because it's a taller figure, it looks like they're kind of bigger, but the Marvel Legends ones are actually longer, and because they're articulated, I think that takes the advantage. The difference is the Marvel Select is a $30 figure. The Marvel Legends is $20 plus however much you spent on the other figures. But there's also two ways to look at it. You're buying the whole wave. The Build-A-Figure is supposed to be kind of a bonus. It's all budgeted and factored in, but it's supposed to truly be a bonus that comes with the figures that you're getting. So if you're wanting the Vision, the wing piece is a bonus. So when you have all those bonus pieces, then you can build, you know, the accessory or the figure or whatever the case is. It's hard to think of it that way, even for myself a lot of times, but that's kind of the idea. So when you look at it from that standpoint, you're like, oh, okay, But with Captain America, the wings are absolutely necessary to him in the show, that he needs to just come with them anyway and not for the Build-A-Figure. But anyway, comparing the two, the details of the Select are much better because it's a bigger figure. Of course, they can kind of hit those details. But one of the things that just is really lacking, the non-articulated wings, the harder plastic that just seems like it'd be brittle. This guy, we actually get translucent goggles on this Sam, so you can actually see kind of an Anthony Mackie likeness, and you can see his eyes through those goggles. The Select, that figure back there, did not get that. We only got like a metallic orangish red color for the lens, but you can actually see his eyes in there, so that is a big huge difference and a big plus. We need an Anthony Mackie head sculpt, with no goggles or anything like that. I think we definitely need that because we haven't had it yet. It sucks that we didn't, so I guess too bad. But had we gotten like a deluxe release for this guy that included the wings, maybe we could get that, and I wouldn't be surprised if later down the road we actually do get something like that. Okay, so in terms of the wave and the ranking, I would give it, of my favorite to the least, I'm going to go with U.S. Agent as my number 1, Scarlet Witch as my number 2. Number 3 will go to Sam Wilson, Captain America. Number 4 to Winter Soldier. Number 5, Baron Zemo. And number 6, last, being Loki. It's odd that the Build-A-Figure actually gets included in my initial ranking, but again, U.S. Agent number 1, Scarlet Witch number 2, Winter Soldier number 3, number 1, U.S. Agent number 2, Scarlet Witch number 3, Captain America number 4, Winter Soldier number 5, Baron Zemo number 6, Loki. You guys let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank the wave with those figures, with all these figures? If you have the wave, you guys let me know. If you don't have the wave, let me know that as well. For those curious, if you leave the wings on the stand with that backpack piece, you can get the backpack piece onto the comic Sam Wilson figure, but it's not the best. So it'll hold on there, but you can see it's kind of loose and it's not kind of flush on there, and then it can fall off. But you can kind of fudge it and make it work. Another thing you could do is if you use a comic shield that has that peg, you can actually peg it into the back of the backpack where the stand would go, and you can port that in there like so. So that would actually be pretty cool. So if you have Sam and you put the backpack piece on his back like so, and you can have that version of the shield. You just can't use an actual MCU shield, but you could do something like that. It just really weights the backpack, so it might like kind of turn to the side. But that would actually be a really cool look there if you look at it like this way, right? If you have something with Cap, that would look really cool. Okay, so my final thoughts. I know this is probably a super long video at this point. I'm disappointed that the wings are in fact the Build-A-Figure. At first I didn't mind it, but now having the wings, they're just not as big as I kind of thought that they would be. They're accurate to the size for Sam. It's just a matter of, with the practicality of the wings. The stand is cool, I guess, but when really thinking about it in terms of the quality of all the figures, I am left disappointed. Do I regret buying them in any way? Absolutely not. I think if you're an MCU figure collector, these are all must-buys, must-haves regardless. But that that goes on to each individual collector on are you happy with the figures to purchase them or not, or how that works. Character selection means more to me than some of the things, the execution of the figures. Yes, I could still wish that the figure is executed better, but I'm still happy to have them, if that makes sense to you guys. MCU collector, for me, it's all about getting all the MCU characters, all the figures. So from that aspect, I am happy. From a casual collector or buyer, figure buyer, or kids that are going to be getting them, or if you're going to be getting them as a gift, some of these you might want to think twice about. Wanda, Scarlet Witch is an absolute must buy. I think U.S. Agent, even with the flaws of the paint, not having the white on there and the red being in the wrong spot, still a fantastic figure. So it's great to see. So we know what to expect out of the blue and red Captain America version that's coming to Walmart. So it's nice to see kind of what to expect out of there, and I'm going to be very pleased when that one comes out because it's going to be accurate and everything. So it's just kind of one of those things. But you guys let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you guys for watching.